YouTube, my name is rhianaB, and hooey! Welcome back to another review of Survivor. We've got a lot to cover, a lot of confusion, a lot of insanity, so let's delve right into it. The aftermath of last tribal council was basically that Mike, Ryan, and Chrissy were kind of left in the dark, and in particular, Chrissy took it very, very personal because she really did, to a sense, trust Ben, and now she's gone completely against Ben. And of course, Ben's just like, it's a game, you shouldn't take things so personally, which is ironic coming from him because Ben is, in the past, have done some things that would reflect that he himself takes things very, very personally. And also what's interesting is when you see Ben and Chrissy, in the beginning, they started on the same tribe. They were both on Heroes. And they also were in a pretty good alliance in the very beginning. I talked about it in my I was talking about it earlier when I was reviewing the first few episodes, that they were actually pretty tight in the beginning. And now it's like a complete 180, and now they're like pretty much at each other's throats. And this does get reflected in the reward challenge, which as we discussed last week, this week was going to be the loved ones visit, which is always really nice. I will say though, I don't quite like how they handled the whole loved ones reward thing. They've done it in the past and they've done it usually pretty well. This one I really didn't like that much because the reward challenge, quote unquote, was basically both the contestant and the loved one picking out marbles and hoping they would match. I don't know why they decided to do that because that's not really giving the survivors a chance to fight for the chance to spend time with their loved one. It's left up to chance, which I understand the process of like, this game is all about chance and about, you know, timing and things like that, but sometimes just fate does not want to work with you. I understand that, but I wish they had done it in a different way because I felt like it was meant to be really short so we can focus on the rest of the episode. So maybe this would have been a good time to maybe have had like an hour-and-a-half episode or a 2-hour episode instead of just cramming this into 1 hour because I felt like there was just not enough time to focus on, you know, the loved ones and stuff like that. But anyway, reverting back to Chrissy and Ben. Now, Chrissy and Ben were the final people in that reward challenge, and Chrissy ends up winning and spending time with her husband, and then she picks Ryan, Mike, and Ashley to go along with her and her husband to spend time at, like, and eat food and just, you know, spend time together. This was a deliberate attack on Ben. Honestly, if I would have been in her situation, I would have picked Ben because how close he and his wife are. Because honestly, in the sense of the loved one visit, I wouldn't be that person, I would assume, that wouldn't have grudges when it comes to spending time with your loved one, because that's very, very precious and personal. But Chrissy decided to do that, and she didn't take Ben with her just as a deliberate attack for the way that he had treated her ever since last tribal. And while the loved ones are spending time together, we're back at camp, and Ben, as we saw from the preview from last episode, that he makes a fake idol, and his intent is actually to hide that idol somewhere, and for someone on the other alliance to find it, and that way they would stop looking for the actual idol, and, you know, yada yada yada. So Ben, along with Devin and Lauren, they actually look for the real idol, and they end up finding it. But it turns out that it wasn't the full idol. It was actually a two-parter idol, which I don't think has ever been done before, at least with the hidden immunity idol. But basically they had the string, and someone had to find the shell that was going to be present at the immunity challenge. Now, I actually like that concept of it being a two-parter hidden immunity idol because it makes it more tricky for you to actually find the other half, especially if it is at a immunity challenge. So I actually do like the idea of having a hidden immunity idol in two separate parts. And then, moment of truth, we get to the immunity challenge, and turns out that the shell is actually right in front of Lauren, who actually really needed to find it. So I would semi-say she did kind of quit, but not really quit, because she actually like grabbed because basically it's the challenge where you have to like use your fingertips to hold up like a circular board up against a post, and she like just grabs it off and then lowers it down. And even Jeff said that it looked like a quit. She says it's because her shoulders were giving out, then she should have just dropped it instead of just like grabbing it and then putting it down. So I can't help but say that it is maybe semi-cheating, semi-not. But she does grab that shell, and what's interesting is that she didn't at all try to hide the fact she found this shell. Maybe she thought that, oh, people think it's a shell, it's nothing important, da da da. But yeah, since 3 people, including Lauren, all know about this 2-parter idol, something's gonna get spilt, and that's exactly what is going to happen later. But either way, Ashley ends up winning immunity again. She's kind of turned into the challenge beast, so that's something to keep in mind for later. And on the Tribal Council chopping block, we have Mike, Chrissy, and Ryan, but then we have Ben, who has been a target for a while, and then we have Lauren, and I'll get to that here in a second. So when we get back from the immunity challenge, Ashley is really pushing for a Ben vote. She's been gunning for Ben for the past week or 2 weeks now, but Devin still wants to get Chrissy out because he sees her as a bigger threat compared to Ben. All the while, Ben just stumbles into the conversation, and this makes Ben very, very, very suspicious. So the suspicion leads to paranoia, and Ben ends up going and talking to Mike and basically spilling every single thing that has been in the Core 4 Alliance, just spilling everything to Mike. And now Ben comes up with the idea to vote off Lauren because honestly he is correct that she's very powerful. She has the advantage. She has the hidden immunity idol. She's basically the leader of the Core 4, although I don't think Ben would really like to admit that. And of course, you know, Mike, Chrissy, and Ryan, they're all for it because that means that they're not the ones who are going to be sent home tonight. They're used for votes. But then Mike starts thinking maybe I should have a plan B, so he goes to Ashley and basically tells Ashley that Ben has been telling him all of these things, and then Ashley and Devin end up going to Lauren and saying, oh hey, Ben's gunning for you. And this makes Lauren very, very paranoid, and then to show, I guess in a sense of trust, she gives half of the 2-parter hidden immunity idol to Mike, which that's a pretty crazy move. I understand it's meant to show, it's meant to show trust within you, but the thing is, Mike has been wanting to do some pretty crazy things in this game, so I don't quite know if that was a smart move on Lauren's part, and I'll get to why that is at the end, because, oh boy, that was probably the craziest thing I've seen in a long time. Then we get to Tribal Council, and this is where things just, like, implode. First off, Lauren is deliberately lying to both, not really to her tribe mates, but more so to the jury, that the so-called advantage, which as we know is an extra vote, and it's been in play since pretty much the first tribal she ever had it, that it's back at camp, she's trying to hide herself, and I can see, like, Desi at one point in the jury was, like, kind of shaking her head and had a weird look on her face, like what the hell are you talking about? So the craziest thing that I think I've ever seen in a recent season of Survivor, and that's saying something because there have been some pretty crazy moments, but literally, Mike stands up with the seashell, that's the other half of that hidden immunity idol. He throws it in the fire. I mean, like, what? I literally was watching the episode, and I, like, had my hands over my mouth because I could not believe the audacity and the balls that he had to throw a hidden immunity idol visibly into a fire. And obviously, they cut to Lauren's face, and she's just like, you know, oh shit, what have I just done? I basically just dug my own grave. I have never seen anything that deliberate. I just was like, it's so hard to describe what I was going through. I was literally in shock, but I was also like, kind of like, really happy, because I'm just like, no one has ever done that before, and that is like the most badass thing that I've seen on Survivor in a very long time. It was awesome. And then this all leads to everyone like talking to each other and talking to other people, secret whispers, and then all of a sudden Devin gets up, talks to Mike, and then Chrissy goes and talks to Ryan, and then Mike tries to reel in Chrissy, and and jury, Jeff, everyone's just like utterly confused. It's an insane tribal, and there have been some insane tribals. I would definitely put this one as one of the top ones, because there was utter confusion, there was insanity there. I mean, it was just everything, and the kitchen sink. So we finally, after all of this craziness, we get to the vote, and out of freaking nowhere, and I can't believe that I actually forgot about this, I forgot that Ben had a freaking hidden immunity idol, and he ends up playing it. I literally, when he first pulled it out, I thought, oh no, did he actually find the real other half of the idol instead of Lauren? And all that sort of stuff. But I mean, I literally completely forgot that he had his own hidden immunity idol. It was the idol that was up in the tree, in the urn, and I was like, what? So Ben ends up playing his hidden immunity idol, which it did work. He ended up getting every vote, everyone on the tribe voted for Ben. And of course, because of that, only Ben's vote is left, and we all knew who he was voting for. He was voting for Lauren. So Lauren ends up being the next person voted off of Survivor Heroes versus Healers versus Hustlers, and now she is the 5th member of the jury. I mean, I gotta say though, Lauren did take it like a champ, and I honestly think that even if you get eliminated on a crazy tribal council, that's kind of like a badge of honor. You're the person who left one of the most insane tribal councils ever. I mean, that's a pretty cool thing to have on your resume, on your Survivor resume. So she did take it like a champ, so that was good. And she played a really good game. I was very impressed by Lauren throughout most of the game. I did not expect it from her in the beginning, but she played really, really well. So on to previews for next week. We see that, obviously, Ben's got a big-ass target on his back, and everyone's really scared of him. So you would think that Ben would be obviously the next person to go. But as we know, throughout this season and throughout much of Survivor, who you think is going home may not be the one that may end up going home that night. And because of this, we see a little clip of Chrissy, out of freaking nowhere. Chrissy ended up saying that she actually wants someone else out. I think it's Ashley, if I recall. So things are getting even crazier, but we're gonna have to wait and see what craziness will ensue. So we don't have many players left. And honestly, for predictions on who I think will go home, I honestly have no idea. There's literally so much that happened in the past 2 weeks that I'm just like, I really don't know who to think is the person who's most likely to go home. I think Mike is a big threat. Ben is a huge threat. Ashley's a big threat because of challenges. Ryan and Chrissy, if they are still numbers, and that could be a big threat, and plus Ryan's a good thinker. I honestly have no idea. So I'm really not going to put a prediction as to who I think is going to go home because everyone's a threat, and I honestly just do not know who to pick. But we'll have to wait till next week to see what happens with who may go home. Alright guys, that is it for this week's review of Survivor. If you guys like it, please give it a thumbs up. Leave me comments down below. I mean, what did you think of tonight's crazy, crazy episode? And if you want to see my future videos or videos I've already done, go ahead, hit subscribe, and hit the little bell icon so you can be notified when my videos come out. That's all I have for you guys today, and until the next video, bye! Mwah.